and gentlemen, welcome to the preview of the H&H seasonal opener sale here at Buxton, Pavilion Gardens, with the sale due tomorrow on February the 12th. We've got some really interesting lots in the sale, and genuinely something for everybody. Everything from the very old, which I'll show you, all the way to the very new-ish. But we always keep classic, obviously. Let's take you around the sale and see what we've got. So the first thing I wanted to show you in this sale, we've got a few of them admittedly, Porsche 911s, is this 996 Carrera 4 from 1999. The reason why it's special is that this car has only done 12,500 miles from new, and with only two owners. The current owner has only owned it has owned it all the way from 2002 as well. The car's immaculate. I said very new earlier when I introduced what we're doing here today. I think this is about as new as you're going to get for one of these. It's surely a near one-off with the mileage. So for many of you, this is probably going to be the absolute star of the show at the auction tomorrow. This is a beautiful Aston Martin V8 Volante. This particular example has only covered 49,000 miles from new, and it was owned previously by a chairman of the Aston Martin Owners Club. It's received around £8,000 worth of expenditure in the last couple of years with the current owner, which has basically it's been improved, and it's been loved and used, and now it's ready to find a new home. It's got an absolutely gorgeous interior, and it's gorgeous in its original green over the tan leather interior as well. And I don't think you can really get a better car for your money in terms of something that you could take to somewhere like Monaco, for example, with the roof down. I mean, you'll certainly make an impression with it. And for many more of you, this will be the absolute star of the show. So this is a Riley Brooklands. For those of you who don't know, these were one of the proper racing Rileys from the period. This particular example is from 1930, and as you can see, it's been in a project form for quite some time. Unfortunately, the current owner, Mr. Scholes, who many of you, if you're in the Riley register, will know, passed away a little while ago, and as a result, we've been asked to sell some of his cars. It's pretty much there. So we've had a look through everything. It's got an original chassis plate with it. We have had a look at the body as well. Most of it is there. It's going to be a project for somebody, but it's not going to take too much, we don't think. And it's also got a proper Riley 9 engine with it as well. So it could be something very interesting. Just lift the cowl for you so you can have a look at that engine. As you can see, all there with its twin SU carburetors. It's going to be more than a couple of weekends' work perhaps, but it's still a very exciting project, and we've had a lot of interest in it so far. So for those of you who like something a little bit more luxurious than a Riley Brooklands racing car, perhaps a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley will be your thing. This car is a 1954 Bentley R-Type, and I've chosen to show you it today because it's really lovely and original. The car has an automatic transmission, and it's been very well looked after, very well cared for. Often with these R-Types and Mark 6s, because of the values of them in recent years, they can fall victim to not having the best amount of repair work done. But this one, however, is absolutely lovely. I mean, I'll tell you what I'll show you. Have a look at that original interior. You just cannot replicate that original Connolly hide that they use nowadays. The other one that I wanted to show you is this Rolls-Royce 2530. Londelette bodied, and the coach lines in it are exquisite. So it's been subject to an awful amount of restoration. The chap bought it from, I believe it was Ghost Motors down in my neck of the woods, actually, in Sevenoaks. And it's not often that we see them in this good a condition. I've had a quick drive in this car outside, and it really, really does drive well. So the gearbox is lovely, the clutch is very good. You can turn the throttle right the way down to closed, and it will sit there idling pretty much silently. If you want something which is basically a baby Phantom, or something that's not quite as big as a Phantom, because Phantoms are big, this might be for you. And you can sit in the back of it and have your driver feeling nice and cold as well. What more could you want for luxury? I really want to show you this just because it's unusual, especially in this country. So this is a 1961 Mercedes 190 DB, which means diesel, or und oil burner. The reason I thought I'd show you it, you think about all of the Mercedes E-Class, BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, etc., that are used today. This was sort of like the start of that. So it's got the diesel engine in it, which obviously at the time was quite unusual. They were very popular as taxi cabs in Germany. So there were many, many of these on their streets. What's interesting about this one is it's right-hand drive. So it's originally from, I believe, the South African market, owned by a chap in Zimbabwe for a long time, one of the previous owners. And he actually brought this car back to the UK when he had to emigrate for reasons that some of you might know if you know your politics of South Africa quite well. But it's just a really nice example. It'd be a good, reliable classic. And these in the UK, in the time period, they cost a fortune. You'd have to be really, really affluent to be able to afford one of these. If you compare it to a Humber Hawk at the time, this would have been more expensive. So you could grab yourself a bargain of a car, really. Staying on the Mercedes-Benz theme, but this one admittedly a little more potent than the 190 diesel over there. This is a Mercedes-Benz SLC, so C107 for you who know your chassis codes of Mercedes. This one's been upgraded with one of the 560 V8 engines, which was obviously never done. So it's a bit of a resto mod, but a period one, and it's an absolute sleeper. Damien took this out. He told me that it's estimated to be around about 320 brake horsepower, but the sheer torque of it makes it a little bit terrifying. It's very, very quick, and it's very, very fun to drive. So if you're looking for something a little bit unusual, and it's a very sleek black, obviously, as well, so you're not going to get better as a colour, then this might be the car for you. So I wanted to show you this Porsche, and I've made Martin take photos of the interior first, because look at the colour of it. So it's a 997 Carrera 4S Targa, which they didn't do many of, but in this colour, I don't think they did. It might be a one-off. So it's UK right-hand drive, obviously. It's spectacular. There's been a lot of interest in it, as you can imagine, and people have really been flocking to it to have a look at it. But if you want a one-off Porsche and, for the money, 25 to 30,000 on guide price, are you going to get a better car? Probably not. You better have a look at it if you're into your Porsches, or you're really considering one. I better show you this E-Type because it's offered without reserve. It's a 1971 E-Type V12 2+2 coupe. Interesting car because it's actually got a warranted 28,000 miles from you. It's got all of its original book pack. It was first sold into Ireland and registered as DOI 3113, I think it was. But it's in good condition. It's a bit of a project. Needs some of the front suspension sorting out. The paint needs a little bit of attention as well. There's some micro blistering on it. But it's offered from a collection because the chap is moving abroad. It's been in storage for a little while. And, look how much car you could get for your money, potentially. No reserve. So I'm going to take you back to the 1930s now. And maybe not the 1930s, although similar. These two Morgans, both three-wheelers, they both come from the same vendor, and they were both owned for a long time by the same gentleman. This car is from 2012, and it's another three-wheeler. It's got the Mazda MX-5 5-speed gearbox, injection, big V-twin on the front of it, same sort of formula as the 1933 car. So this one, a little bit older, so Super Sports. It's got a water-cooled Jap engine, 1100cc, 3-speed gearbox, and both of them have been in the ownership of this gentleman for a long time. The 2012 car, one owner from you, approximately, less than 10,000 miles from you. Both in need of complete recommissioning, so both are offered as non-running projects, but they're in good fettle, really, considering they've been in long-term storage. As I said, the gentleman who owned them for a long time, he unfortunately got quite ill, so he moved them on, and now the gentleman who purchased them, he has put them into the sale with us today. But you've got a good choice here, so do you want to go for the older one that's eligible for all the VSCC driving tests and things like that? Or do you want to go for the more modern one that's going to frankly scare you because it's quite fast and it's, it's another thing altogether. But both still completely thrilling. Which one will it be? And those who know me know that I get a little bit excited when I see anything British, commercial, camper van or anything like that you can think of. And look at this Morris J2. I mean, isn't it fabulous? If you need something for the Goodwood revival, then can you get any better, really? I mean, you can pull up in the pre-66 car park and you won't look like everybody with a VW camper or anything like that. And then you can go into the back. I mean, look at the size of it. It's huge. But you can go and have a period cup of tea with your melanin counters and all your teak. I mean, it looks like my house in there, admittedly. But there we go. It's just charming. I think it's great. So, and a great value for money as well. So, the Mark II Jaguar has always been an iconic car, whether you're Inspector Morse or a bank robber, admittedly, or just a gentleman from the 60s, of course. So, as many of you will probably know, parts of the outside of London used to be called the Jag Belt, thanks to these. We've got this one, which is a lovely 1966 2.4 Mark II, and, almost ready to go. A little bit of work maybe just to do a few things, but it'll make a really nice car and really well priced, £8,000 to £10,000. And then at the other end of the scale, the sporting one, if you like, 3.8 Mark II manual overdrive from 1967. So it's got a great registration with it as well. So it's SYN222F or SYN222F if you're a bit of a bad boy bank robber. 3.8 after all. But it's like a big Meccano set. So you could have plenty of fun putting that all together. Or you could buy both and take the 3.8 engine from that and potentially, not that I'm trying to offend any purists, of course, but it's an idea. Just next to it, though, I'll show you this quickly. So I really like this because I think it's really cool. So James consigned this one. It's come from an estate sale and it's a MGSA special. And the reason I really like this is it'd make a great trials car, presented in as-found condition. Can you get a six-cylinder pre-war sporting for this money? I mean, it's guided at 9,000 to 11,000. It's comparatively, it's reasonably priced. And the previous owner's actually been in touch with us about this, and he had it for a long time. And he said he actually beat quite a few WO Bentleys and Lagondas and things like that. So we'll take his word for it. A Bentley beater. So it's a little bit of a rainy day here up in Buxton, and it probably will be tomorrow looking at the forecast as well. But why don't you buy an appropriate vehicle for it if you come up? I mean, you could come up in your car that might get stuck in mud and go home in a lovely 4x4. So we've got Range Rover, Land Rovers, all eras really. So Range Rover Sport, they're coming into their own now. I mean, you know, they were a serious car, I remember, not that long ago. P38, 2.5 TD Bordeaux, so special edition. This is offered without reserve. Gentleman bought it from us a few years ago, and he's lavishly spent lots of money getting it all right, and it's a lovely car. The first Range Rover ever built, 72 Suffix A Range Rover, two-door. Bit of a project for somebody, but you know, again, offered without reserve. And then we've got a few Defenders for you as well. So, got this lovely 110 pickup, nice thing. Perfect for, you know, if you're a farmer or you've got something to do, but you still want to take the kids because it's a proper double crew cab. TD5 engine, 90. And then these, I love these, the L322s. That's a really nice thing. I mean, I think Paul said that it was low mileage, but if you speak to anybody who's got one of these, they rave about them. So you just go and have a look at what Jeremy Clarkson says about them, or Harry from Harry's Garage. I mean, there's, you know, people really, really like these, and it's had a lot of interest as a result. So they're a really, really good machine. When you consider these were, you know, £100,000, wouldn't you? So they're great. Proper rugged bit of kit. So thank you so much for watching, folks. As you can see, we've got something genuinely for everybody here. We hope to see you here tomorrow. But if you can't make it, then remember you can register to bid via the telephone or online alternatively. If you do have any inquiries about the lots, either get in touch with us via our main email address, which is info@h&h.co.uk, or alternatively, if you go onto our website and view the individual lot, you will see the specialist name at the bottom of each listing, and you can get in touch with us directly. So whether that's me, Paul, Damien, Luke, Oliver, or Baljet, any of us will be willing to help at any possible time. We hope to see you here tomorrow, but if you can't make it and you're going to have a bid, regardless, good luck.